All right, Darryl, what is going on here?
So this is
Wait, let me actually start. All right, Darryl, what's going on here?
so what we see at the moment is a large man running away from the camera.
Running far away from that camera, but actually it's not that far. It's just the error of lenses make it seem more far than it is far.
This was a particularly cold track morning.
0 degrees, actually, would you believe?
Was it 0?
You can see all the ice in the ground, yeah, but it was 0 getting out of the core.
I went for a little jog this morning before we went to the track. By the way, this is a track session where Owen is doing some 40s. I end up doing some 40s as well because half the track is blocked off due to it being icy.
What had you planned doing?
I had planned on doing some 800s or some 400s.
So you were training obviously for a minute mile or a 5-minute mile, not a minute mile, 5-minute mile and a 500-pound back squat in the same day.
Mm-hmm.
I am doing sprinting because I just want to run some faster times. Sprinting is something I've kind of wanted to do for years. I actually wanted to do it in school. Funny story. So we had like a school club. The teacher who was doing this school club stuff was saying, okay, we'll do some cross-country 5Ks first and then we'll go do some athletic stuff at track meets, and I was pretty fast. I had a sub 5-second 40 when I was like 17, so I was pretty fast. I had a pretty good, like a nipple height box jump, so obviously it turned out to be quite useful in weightlifting. But we did a 5K. I came dead last, no problem. I was like, I don't even care about this 5K. And then we just never did the track meets. We never did them.
That's so bad as well because cross country is so grueling.
Yeah.
It's just so uncomfortable. The distance isn't enjoyable. It's always in wet. It's always in like November, December and January in Ireland.
Oh, it was...
And it's like up to your knees in mud.
But I didn't even mind the mud bit. I was just didn't really enjoy the 5K. And to be fair, the 5K wasn't bad. I ended up at like a 21-minute 5K or something. So
that's not bad.
Would have been like 70, 75 kilos at the time. And we never actually got around to doing the track stuff. Still mad about that to that day. So I just kind of wanted to take this opportunity for a few months and do some sprinting.
I thought you were going to say I'm going to take this opportunity to call out the teacher who never let me go to the track.
Got out there, fucking maths teacher. So this is my 4th track session. This is my 4th running session in 12 years. So we did one track session a few weeks ago. I just tested some 40s and stuff, and then had a bit of hamstring out. We just checked out the spikes. So I've been doing a little bit of hill sprints, but it's a totally different animal.
Very different animal. Very different animal in terms of popping a hammy.
Oh, yes.
Hill sprints are very, very safe for popping hammies and stuff. They make you really tired and stuff, but they're like, you're not really going to hurt yourself doing hill sprints unless you do something stupid. But on a track is like hopping into a Formula 1 car and expecting not to crash.
Yeah, I put on the spikes for the first session, felt a little bit on the second 40, bit on the first, and I was like, this feels familiar. I've had this before. Obviously, I've played field sports for 14 or 16 years or so not new to running in terms of, ever. But put on the spikes. Second one, definitely felt a little bit of a gunshot. I was like, it better stop. We were both like, yeah, it's not too bad.
Maybe.
Pain reduced by half the next day. And then like 4 or 5 days later, we were both like, yeah, look, if there's a load of bruising, it's probably not great. And then like the weekend, 4 days later, I was just in a hotel bathroom and I was like, there's a massive hand-sized bruise at the bottom of my hamstring.
What is this hematoma I see on my hamstring?
But it was okay. Like it's literally a case of when, not if.
It seemed pretty much perfect today. You didn't have any no pull-ups or anything like that. So what we're doing here is just some running warm-ups. I don't think any of the actual 40s have started. I certainly hope not, because that's a very slow sprint pace if it is. What I'm doing here for my warm-up is slightly different from Owen. So I just did a lot of kind of dynamic stretching, standing on the spot. It's incredibly cold and taking off your jacket isn't very enjoyable this cold in the morning. So I went for probably like a 3K run around is what I call it, because it's with the dog. The dog is a puppy. He gets very excited. He sees things he needs to sniff. So it's not a proper run, but I feel quite limber and good at this point. So I don't really need to warm up massively. Just kind of do a few runs. I think I did a few 150s. So basically go to the point of the track that was blocked off with a barrier, run from there. And then I fell in with you on your 40-meter repeats.
So my problems or my goals at the moment are, one is familiarize with just sprinting, like get used to the idea of sprinting, and then try and do some progressive training while sprinting. So basically throughout the course of this video, you'll just see me going a little bit faster each time. And then near the end, we just timed 2:40s. So I timed both of them. We both ended up at the same time on the 40s. I was like 6:08.
I will say it was 0.06 seconds faster.
So 6:08, and I think you did 6:0. Was it
5.92
on your second one? Was it
on my first? I think.
Are you sure? No,
might have been on my second one. I definitely had 5.92 on the clock.
Either way, not very impressive 40s from anybody. The times. So my second one was 6:08, and to be honest with you, the change or how different. So this is one of your 40s.
Yeah.
The change in my first track session, even to this one.
Oh, it's massive.
The progress, I've never felt anything feel so much better on anything. Not on squatting, not on jiu-jitsu. No sport has gone from being, well, this is really bad, to like, oh, this is significantly less bad. This isn't good, but this is certainly not as bad as it was a month ago.
No, and whatever about feeling better, like the sprints just look so much better.
Yes.
Like we were there the first day we went to the track, and things didn't look great, to be honest, but they look so much better today.
Yeah, but why would they look great?
Exactly.
Why would they look great in your first track session?
In 12 years.
So the first 40 here just pulled up near the end. Just had a habit of doing that for the last few sessions. And then begin for the second one. And I'm trying to just kind of keep running on through.
By God, this really does make me want to play rugby.
Does it?
Yeah.
Why?
Something about running fast with the hope of getting to hit someone at the end or someone trying to hit you is just very, very appealing, you know. One big thing with the 40s is, and I've always done this or always had this in my head, is like basically a 40-meter sprint is a 60-meter sprint. And you're thinking about accelerating as much as you possibly can for as long as you possibly can. And you keep going through. There's literally just like a 60-meter mark on the track, sprinting through to there every single time. I think that maintains my mechanics a bit better. At this point, I have swapped over to the Vans track spikes.
Mm-hmm. You've done your running.
I've done my running. So I'm not doing any bounding.
So I just finished off with some bounds. Did it 6 or 7 sets of those, just trying to obviously get a little bit of plyometric work. So longer strides, which don't look that long in that camera, to be honest. Just trying to overload some of those muscles, eccentrics, get used to tibs, some extra training there. And we'll just kind of stay pretty similar to this for the next period of time. My biggest barrier for entry into faster sprinting at the moment is I'm still in the triple digits body weight.
Yeah, so, makes such a difference.
Yeah, so 110 at the moment, and obviously that's going quite well in terms of body composition, etc. So I'll keep slowly cutting down, and I'm pretty happy with that. I'm glad at the progress.
I think every 2 or 3 kilos when you're running you can feel.
Yes.
Like 5 kilos is massive, but even a couple of kilos there, you can really feel a difference.
Like even the difference on your aerobic capacity is huge in terms of a couple of kilos lost, you know, and your change of VO2 max. And see, if you're looking at it in jiu-jitsu terms, the number of rounds you can do and how fresh you are, like a couple of kilos, it's crazy. And you don't appreciate it. On the gain up, you kind of don't take much notice. It's just when you lose it again, you're like, oh, being a fat bastard isn't good for this.
Yeah, definitely not. One thing I do appreciate, having done this session in the Spiker-Roonies, is I appreciate my nice, floaty Nike carbon fiber running shoes.
I'm on the opposite end, so I've been doing one of my Vivo barefoots, which have been essentially bald from the bottom because they're like 2 years old. And obviously the track is wet most days, and it's wet from ice, but the traction you get at spikes
is insane.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
So I think I'm probably going to stick with 40s. I might do some 60s. It's unlikely I will do 100s. That's too long of a commitment. Like that's months, years, kind of the end of the year, kind of like realization phase on that. So I don't think I'll want to do that. But I think 40s and 60s are very feasible for like a 6-month period. If anyone has any thoughts on my sprinting mechanics, I'm all ears about hearing them. Be interested in anything specific that you think or see. I'm happy to listen.
Absolutely, yeah. Let us know below. Ideally, negative commentary.
Dara doesn't give a shit because the running you're doing there is completely
very,
inverse.
Very different. Yeah,
it's actually the opposite of the running you need.
Even especially the posture is so different.
Do you think that posture is even useful in the last 100 meters of a mile?
I think that posture might be useful in terms of being generally faster, and having a faster 100 and 200 meter sprint will definitely be beneficial. Like being able to maintain those positions, be a bit more rigid. be a bit more explosive could definitely be beneficial, but the mile really isn't that kind of positioning, that kind of technique, you know.
Like even today, being a bit more kyphotic, so upper back slightly rounded, feels better than that full extension position, which is something I'd spend all of my time doing most of the time. You know, obviously jiu-jitsu, you go from extension, maintain that position, kyphotic, but in weightlifting and squatting, you're looking for, at a minimum, a neutral, to be fair, slightly arched or more arched. So it even feels a little bit better today, so it's all novel.
No, it all looks great.
Yeah, hopefully.
Very exciting times.
Yeah, we'll see where this goes in the next 2 months or so. We'll see how it runs up.
Or the next 9 months.
Are you pregnant?
For me.